Hey, what's up? I'm Tshepi.
I'm Aaron. What's happening?
And I'm Masego.
And I'm Palesa Lemeke.
Together we are
5
Weekend Breakfast. Press the
I can't do no small talk, no small talk. I'm not with the small talk. Can't be with the small talk.
Where's the button? I want to press the button. And that's actually how people think radio works. Like it's just celebratory horns. Pop, pop, pop all the time.
No.
But it's because of...
I used to think there's like a...
Hey, your team is being shady.
What's
again.
happening?
They're being shady.
No.
What are you?
You used
what
to
did
think?
you say? I missed it.
No, it's
You
okay.
used to what?
It's in the
You
past.
used to call me on myself.
I don't know.
No. It's in the past. No, she was just saying that
Past?
there's a specific individual that loves to use the horns, or maybe overuses the horns.
Rather that.
Yeah, and then that's why a lot of people assume that every moment needs, a set of horns. A po 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 po. So we just had that connection. So sorry.
Hey, Fomo. It will kill you.
Hey,
It's
I
okay. I
got it.
wanted to understand. I wanted to understand.
Okay,
because
cool.
So I was saying that I used to think back in the day when I was like in high school, I used to think like radio, the studio is so big. And there's like one mic and you have to project and speak so loud so that they hear you. Then I walked in, I'm like, this is so tiny.
Where did you walk in? Tell me. Your first radio
My
experience.
first visit was in Motsweding FM, at Motsweding FM. At the time, the late Ebo Manyapelu, who was a sports commentator, was hosting the breakfast show. So like everything was just not how, when you listen to, and especially back in the day, when you listen to radio, you don't know how the DJ looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just think, there's someone who's so big, so tall. Some of them were so short. I'm like, what the hell?
The
This is
voice
not what you
doesn't
sound
match
like.
the person.
Yes, and their voices as well. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is happening here? And then I'm like, this is also too small and too tiny. Why is your desk like this? Because I thought it's so big, like you have to have somebody controlling, because they used to say there's a technical guy. So I'm thinking the tech guy is like a DJ. You know when you have the
Yes,
DJs?
the
Yes.
CDJs.
Then I
Yeah.
walked in, it was just quite different.
Yeah. I remember as a child, I used to think that they're like people in the TV and there are people in the radio.
Huh?
So yeah.
Like you have to open TV.
Exactly, because you're like, no, but they're in the box.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's not the case. When
How
you
did
grew
they
up,
get in the box?
exactly.
And
and you would be like, you like check, like, where are these people?
On that Leon
knocking
Schuster
on the
vibe. I don't know if you guys saw that part where he hit the
You were
TV
like-
screen to get them out.
Uh-huh.
hectic.
Literally. Literally. So yeah, when you grow up, unfortunately, you find out that
Santa's
you know,
not real.
Santa's not real. The
Don't
tooth
do
fairy
that. What
is
if my
not
little
real.
sister's listening?
Yes, the
I
money
mean-
that they gave you is actually your mom's money.
Hey,
Yeah.
no wonder my mom was only giving me 5 rands. Guys, like I went through a stage.
How much
where-
did you want?
No, I thought I could get more. Like I even remember like having a conversation with my mom, like wishing that I would get like a 10 rand. And for me as a child, like a 10 rand note was like a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I always got a 5 rand.
And you don't want 2 5 rands, you want the note.
That's the thing, because now I've
Yeah.
got paper money. For a child, it means a lot when you've got like paper
Maybe
money.
he had
Like,
ugly
Yeah, you
teeth.
used to think when you
Wasn't
have
worthy.
friend. Huh?
Oh,
She said maybe he has ugly teeth and his teeth weren't worth 10 rand.
you don't respect
Someone
me,
has
innit?
to say it.
You
Ah,
don't respect me.
Someone has to say it. Why
So-
would she keep on giving you 5 rand?
Basically, what you say is that my mom doesn't love me.
Doesn't money put
No,
value to things?
no. We are too far now. Your mom loves you.
She's saying my mom doesn't love me.
No. Take
'Cause she
take
didn't
it
give me a
back.
10
Coming
rand
from your
note.
other mommy, that's
Your
why.
mommy loves you, boo boo. Okay.
that's
I'll
cute.
take it. I'll take it, mommy. I'll take it.
First radio experience, where were you at?
Yo, first radio experience was definitely Tux FM, and then after that I did some shadowing here at the SABC, shadowed at SAFM, shadowed at Metro, shadowed at
The
Jacaranda.
king of shadowing.
So yeah, I've been around, and then I went to OFM, and that studio was absolutely phenomenal.
How did
Really?
you know radio? Like,
How was I exposed to it?
no, how did you know that, okay, radio is my thing? That's what I want to do.
So I love talk radio. I've always loved it since I was a child. I remember listening to another station with broadcaster Aubrey Masango late at night, and to me he was the king. I used to listen to him during during the week as I was doing my homework in the evenings. And then on a Sunday, Eddie Zondi, the late great Eddie Zondi, you know. But I often used to take the conversations that Aubrey Masango was having late at night. And if I had like a paper 3 exam where I need to like write an essay and you could choose a topic, or you had one of those speeches that you had to give, I used to listen to the conversations and literally take all the talking points because I could remember them and use them for my essays and my speeches. So
You were cheating. You were
well,
cheating.
I wasn't cheating. I was smart because I knew that Aubrey was having intellectual conversations, which I really enjoyed. And then I knew that the teacher would be impressed by it. So then I just took all that information and just put it down on paper. So that was my
Aubrey Masango was your ghostwriter.
I was about
well,
to say split sheets.
I mean,
That's what I heard
Yeah.
in my head. I had
mean-
split sheets.
I mean-
Intellectual property.
Career
You're stealing.
crazy.
Well,
Career crazy.
in radio we say content. You find content anywhere and everywhere. That's basically what happened. So I just took
Plagiarism.
the
Aaron.
content and I just put it down on paper. But yeah, that was my first like encounter with radio. And then I remember 2018 I met Mike Bauer, who's the producer for 5 Drive now. And at the time I was studying mathematical statistics there at Tux, feeling a little bit frustrated, and I had a big interest in economics. So I walked up to Mike Bauer and I was like, yo, can you please organize a meeting for us? I'd like to chat to yourself and the station manager. We had a meeting and I pitched this whole economics program, and the rest was history. So
That's so bold of you.
I mean, I think everything that I've done in my life, I've had to have the balls to just grab the opportunity. So that's how I started my radio journey.
Because I'm thinking about it, like we're all just trying to get into radio. He was bold enough to say, not only am I trying to get into this radio thing, but I want to come up with my own show.
Yeah.
You normally just go there and
Yeah.
you're like, wherever
I
you
want
can
to
put me
join
in.
your
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm reading traffic, it's okay. Like I
Yes.
just want to be on the mic, you know? And you went and you're like, this is
Yeah.
what I want. This is how I want to do it.
And
That's pretty
to be honest, it's not like I got what I wanted immediately. So when I had the meeting with them, they were like, okay, cool. Damn, that's interesting. We've never thought of that. But at the moment, it's not something that we are looking into. But what we can do is put you in the marketing team. So for 6 months, I did marketing. Then in September, I then joined the presenting squad, did 1 or 2 shows. And then Mike Bauer then came to me and was like, yo, that idea that you had, I think we want to create a show and put you on the breakfast show. So a large part of my journey is also finding the gaps, because I know that the drive presenter, he's solid in his position. So I'm not necessarily going to go for that specific spot. I'm going to find a gap, and if I slot in there, I mean, I'm creating an opportunity for myself, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that was my one concern about radio. I mean, I also joined a tax. The weird thing is that my radio interest was sparked by other people, not by me.
How so?
I wanted to be on TV. I was the girl. I was doing all the auditions for every TV presenting show that's hip and happening that you can imagine. I was like, yo, y'all better see this face. You know what I'm talking about? And then it didn't happen. I was just so frustrated. And a friend of mine, when I eventually came back to Pretoria, was like, yo, there's Tax FM. I'm like, tell me about radio, man. People are not going to see me. Too pretty for radio. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, nah, Tshepi, believe me, like your voice. It's like, what voice? I sound like someone is choking me. But if you think it will work, let's go. Went there. I lied in my interview. So that's why I didn't get it the first time around.
Why did you lie?
What did you
What
say?
did you say?
Wait, what did you say?
Ish, man. So they asked me, do you listen to Tax FM? I was like, yeah. I mean, that's what you have to say when you're being interviewed. It's like going to a company, you don't know anything about the company. Why are you here? So I was like, yeah, I listen to Tax FM. Like, your favorite show? I'm like, the 12 to 3 one.
You didn't even know the DJ.
So I knew some guy because he was my friend's friend. So he told me, the guy that's the same guy that said, go try radio. I was like, oh, yeah. His name is, I even forgot his name, but he was a cool dude. He was there for a long time. So I thought he's still there. Kanti, literally beginning of that same year, he quit. So now I'm like, yeah, that's my favorite show. I was like, oh, when last did you listen? I'm like, I think it was like 2 days ago.
What was he talking about?
That's where the part was like, I can't really remember. And then they're like, Mama, let's back it up. Firstly, that person has not been on air for like 3 months. So whoever you heard 2 days ago is not him. And do you really listen to Tax FM? I was like, nah, I don't really. They're like, if you were just honest, we would have taken you. So they got me. Then I said, nah. Now I was determined for myself. And I think that's maybe what I also needed to learn, you know? Hey, when I went back the second time around, I was like, y'all playing with me. coming for everything. And that's when I started. But I was presenting in Afrikaans. It was
Oh
weird.
yes, I remember those days.
That's the weirdest thing ever.
I also had
But I
an
enjoyed
Afrikaans
it.
stint.
Yeah. It was
Did
so
they
great.
ask you to present in Afrikaans, so it was your choice?
I think they were short of Afrikaans presenters at the time. So I told them that I'm bilingual. So whether you put me in an Afrikaans show, or as jy dink ek moet Engels doen, kom ons gaan, hoekom nie?
Afrikaanse dame, huh?
I
Wat
can
sê
praat.
jy?
Even if there's a Xhosa right now, I would have said, Jonga apa sana. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I love the fact that you just had to switch to English there. Not
Yeah,
much,
same.
Xhosa there, hey?
But yeah, that was a very weird journey for me because I had to fall in love with radio. It wasn't like I was in love with it from the onset. Like you guys would say, you had an interest.
Yeah.
The interest like got sparked while I was in it. And then I was like, man, this thing is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite crazy. But your journey, Tux? No, not Tux.
I'm about tax.
The thing is,
We can recruit.
you know what I'm saying?
The
Tiny
wing team.
tax,
Come to Tux.
Oh, okay.
Tux of Nux. We are recruiting. Come to our side.
Okay. I think I've always liked radio because to me it was spending more time with my grandfather thing. You know, he used to listen to Tate Tuso like every
Yo,
Wanaka.
every day. Tshepi. Every time, and whether I understood what he was saying or not, to me it wasn't even about that. It was just about, you know, time, like spending time with my granddad. You know, so we used to do that every time I was there. Or we'd listen to Eddie Zondi, you know, everything. I think that was just our thing, you know. And it's weird, like he didn't have like a little tiny radio. It looked like a whole table.
Wow.
I think it was huge. I don't know what it's even called.
That's way
Radio-
back.
That's
This
way
is
back.
stereo system.
You know?
I just tell you. With the
so
big speakers.
huge. Yeah, with the speakers on the
Yeah.
sides. Yeah.
It was a game.
Yeah,
no.
you know.
He's an OG.
He really was an OG. And then, I don't know, I didn't think I was in love with radio. And then I started studying biotechnology in varsity, and I was just looking for a way out, man. I was like, this is not for me.
I know
you
that
know,
feeling, girl.
I love
You better
science,
preach.
but no, not for me. And then I came across the Wits Radio Academy, you know, and then they wanted someone who was part of a community station or a campus station. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try my luck. You know, I've never walked into a station. I don't know what a desk looks like or whatever, but I'm going to try my luck. And they accepted me. I got in. I was the only person in that class that didn't know how to run desk, who had never presented, who was never part of a station or anything. And I felt so overwhelmed, man. I felt like I didn't belong or whatever. But I think that just pushed me to be even greater.
Come on.
But at that time, I thought I wanted to be a presenter. And then I presented at a digital station called Caps Radio. Then I went to a station where I was like, you know what, actually I want to read news. But I didn't have the greatest editor. So then I went to Vow where I actually, I'm sorry, truth be told, those are facts. Then I went back to Vow and I was like, you know what, they're going to take me whether or not they, you know, need me. So I walked in and I
Take
knew the
up
station
space.
manager at the time. I'm like, I walked in, I'd like to talk to Shweshwe Koo, who's now the station, the
My
station manager, the
baby.
programming manager at SAFM. And she was like, okay, so what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to read news. She's like, can you write? I'm like, a little bit. And she grilled me. If you know Shweshwe will grill you. But she made me shadow a bit. And that's where I started, you know, being a newsreader. And that was great, man.
And the journey has been amazing
And
ever
the
since.
journey's been amazing. You know, now we're nominated for awards and
Oh,
stuff.
you
Come
bet.
Come on, girl.
great.
That's
Two
what I'm
nominations,
talking
baby.
about.
Tell the world. Tell the
Big
world,
ass
baby. Let's go.
energy.
Yeah,
I'll
but
try
that's
and-
where it started. And yours, Masi?
You?
You?
So
said,
complicated.
She said you.
I wanted to study drama.
Okay.
Not even radio, not even, yes. And then after high school, unfortunately, I applied late, go to UT, and I couldn't get in. So I had to go to UNISA. Didn't know what I want to study there because they don't have drama. And then I studied IT, which has nothing to do with media.
At all.
Then a friend of mine and my sister told me about UNISA Radio. In the midst of that, I used to be an extra in a lot of, like I was an extra in Mubango. I was an extra
I didn't
in
know
Yes. Sunday Sun Baby at some point.
Come on, queen.
I used to hustle a
Go.
lot. I used to, whatever that comes comes to mind, I'll do it. If somebody says, why don't you become a model? I'm like, you think so? Okay, I'm going to send my picture to Sandys. And if they say yes, then I'm going. So that was me. Like, I never think about it. I just go in. And then I auditioned at Unisa Radio. They took me on the spot. And I became almost everything. I was a social media promoter, presenter, producer, whatever you can think of. And between then, I was like, okay, cool. Maybe drama will come later. Or television will come later. But then I fell in love with radio more, like when I was in there, because I started to learn about radio. Then I was like, let me just finish IT and then give it to my mom and be like, okay, cool, this is your qualification.
That's for you.
Then let me go live my best life.
Yeah.
And from Unisa Radio, I think at some point I was a PR person as well. I was a PR promoter, actually manager for
everything.
If you look at my CV, you're not going to know what my passion is, because I literally did almost everything, especially in my early 20s on my varsity days. At some point, I became Pick and Pay still pegger. So that's how much of a hustler I am.
Now, having been in the entertainment industry for so long, and the things that you've been exposed to, what do you think of it? I know so many of us, I don't know if you guys also do this thing whereby people like the industry, and then it's like, bro, there's a lot of industries. There's the medical industry, there's but for some reason, people know when you say the industry, which one we're talking about.
The entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Yes. The things that the things
that you've seen, experienced, you already know the beefs, the good things,
what do you think
the bad
about
things.
it? As a whole.
I'm so lucky. I've never had a beef, but I've had my fair share of experiencing someone who was a queen bee or who had a queen bee syndrome. I don't know if you guys understand.
We get it. But you have to explain it to those that don't get it.
At that time, I think it was the early years of my career, and I remember I take time to complain. So I bottled almost everything at that time. And when I was about to explode, I went to the station manager. I was like, please remove me from the show. I don't give a shit. I can just be an intern again. Because the person that I was producing for was just too harsh.
Too harsh on you personally or your work?
But then later on, I realized it wasn't really about me. I just happened to be the victim because she was fighting bigger battles, and I became the victim to catch the fire.
The punching
at
bag,
that
basically.
time. Yes, it wasn't about me, because even later, when she'll refer to me, she'll have a new producer and be like, talk to Masego, she'll tell you how she used to do the show, and I'll be like, I didn't think she'll reference
You acted
me.
like you didn't like me.
You know? And then I picked up and I got to understand her that it wasn't about me. It was about the battles that she was fighting, and I happened to be there at that time, and I caught the fire. That's one. I caught smoke, yes. Didn't burn.
Come on, Mama.
Yeah, the one thing I realized, this is not sustainable. Unfortunately. I've got retrenched before. Bought the car in December, April got retrenched.
Sure.
Relatable content.
Hectic.
And I then got to learn that, listen, if there's one thing you need to do when you're in this industry, multiple streams of income,
Yes,
one.
ma'am.
But two, don't spend your money like there's no tomorrow. Every single time, even if you save one rent, if you think it's worth saving, you need to save that, because radio industry is not like other industries or entertainment industry.
Very fickle.
You can have a job today and tomorrow you don't have a job.
You're the it girl today, tomorrow you're not the it girl
Yes.
anymore. So
You're
maybe you better
nobody.
be on top of your thing.
Your contract will never be permanent. So those are the things I learned. But I've been so fortunate enough as well to work with people, starting at Kaya, to work with people that have been in the industry for over 20 years. You know, your Uncle T's, your Mapaseka, your Uncle Bob. And those are the people that are willing to... If there's one thing I noticed about people that have been in the industry for long, the one thing they always do is to sit you in the corner, whether they bump into you by the corridor or whatever, and they want to share what they learned.
The knowledge. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have noticed that. The people that you work with, Roger Good.
Yes.
Every single moment they get, I don't know if it's because of they can see you quite young and the industry is full of vultures and they want to prepare you as much as you can, even though sometimes we don't take advices. Unfortunately, we learn as we go and we want to experience first before we agree with you or say, actually, you're right.
But also some things you can only learn by feeling.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
By
Like, there's
first-hand
certain things,
experience,
like
yeah.
you can say, nah, I got you, until you're in the situation and then you burn, then you're like, oh, that's what you mean.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I've been so fortunate with that because I remember one day I had a more like a demo and then Uncle Bob was about to leave and I was like, Uncle Bob, can I talk to you? It's like, my darling, is it about work? I'm like, no, actually it's something to do with me. It's like, if it's you, and then walk me downstairs. Then I gave him the demo and then later on, after a week, he called me again. It's like, if it's your personal growth, your career, always feel free to call me or talk to me. And then he gave me feedback on that. And I've experienced that with almost every single veteran in the industry. Young people, we don't give a shit. You're just like, you're going to find out, baby. Let's
luck
go.
to you.
Actually, we think that if I tell you, I'm going to make you better than me. That's the issue.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Or
Mindset.
sometimes I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's going to scare you. And I don't want to make you
I
feel
don't
less
think so.
of anything.
I think it's more of a thing of it's going to take away from me, which
Yeah.
it doesn't. Like, if I bring Bali up,
It also
Bali cannot be
empowers
Tshepi.
you.
Tshepi
Yeah.
will always be Tshepi. Even if I teach Bali how to talk like me, walk like me, dress like me, she will never do it the way I do it because it's not authentic to her. It's not unique to her. But we have this thing. This is now my experience in the industry whereby we want to keep as much knowledge and experience as we can. Our contact list is our contact list because once you call that person, they might see the spark that you have and the greatness that's within you, and I might lose that position, you know? But we also sell the industry, the entertainment industry, let me rather be specific, as a place that is saturated.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not.
And
It's
it's
really
really
not.
not.
And now it's not.
That's the lie.
It's really not, because what Somizi is doing, what Masego is doing, what Tshepi is doing is not the same thing. They can cohabit or cohibit rather, or they can coexist, but it does not mean that now because Tshepi is DJing and Masego is presenting and Somizi is also presenting that they can't do something together. But we feel like now Aaron is DJing, he's Aaron the DJ, and I'm Tshepi, I'm DJ Tshepi. Yeah, no, I can't be friends with Aaron anymore. He's gonna know my DJ secrets. He might start mixing like me. I'm not gonna give him input on how to use record box because then I'm making him great.
So hectic, man.
It is like that,
And
I'm
it's
sure you
also
get experience it.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's also this mindset that we believe that there are limited opportunities.
Yeah.
You know? And I always say this, like, guys, there are so many Porsches in the world. Right now, we can go to any dealership. There are Porsches standing there, which means that you can have a Porsche, you can have a Porsche, I can have a Porsche, you can have a Porsche, right? So this mindset of, oh no, there are only a few opportunities, there are only so many shows. They're creating shows every single day.
That's
there are
true.
production companies working with presenters, looking for presenters. So there's so many opportunities. And if you walk around with this limited mindset, oh no, I'm not going to talk to Tshepi because, you know, she might get my contacts and now she's going to gig it where I gig. It's the wrong mindset because if you are looking at something from a limited perspective, you are just stopping yourself.
I was about to say.
The more we collaborate, the more we work together, the more opportunities we create.
The more network we build.
Exactly.
But then you guys are, I'm looking at you guys, you all DJs. Right?
Well.
And every single time, well,
But it's like,
you're a
wow.
DJ
I
as
dabble.
well.
I don't like go out there and DJ for
Palesa the
like
DJ.
people.
Palesa the
Palesa
DJ.
the
It's a
Yes.
bit of a
Ramatanza,
stretch.
Ramatanza.
Yes. Upagani inside.
Industry.
But then, does it like sometimes intimidate you? Because every single time there's a new DJ coming out.
No, it doesn't intimidate me, to be honest, because I mean, when I started like looking for DJs, because also on the Roger Good show, we feature a lot of DJs. So it means
Yes.
I'm constantly looking. I started to realize that my algorithm became different. Like every single day, there's a new DJ that pops up on either my Instagram, either on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is interesting. Because every DJ is also different. Their song selection is different.
Yeah.
And the way in which they mix is different because there are so many different techniques. So to me, it doesn't intimidate me. To me, I'm like, okay, cool. If Shims is doing that, can I learn that? oh no, black coffee mixes like this. Oh, can I add what Shims is doing to what black coffee is doing? Then I
make
create
it
my
mine.
own style. Because at the end of the day, we are all gifted in different ways, you know? And one has to also like admit that there will always be the black coffees, the Uncle Waffles of the world, but you also have your space in this whole DJing world that you can play, you know? And it's about accepting that, because I'm not competing with Tshepi. I'm not, you know? I'm not competing with everybody. I'm trying to be the best version of myself. And even if that is not black coffee headlining Madison Square Garden, that's okay. It means that I've got other talents.
Then how do you deal with like comparisons? You know, Tshepi DJs and she dances, and anyone can say she's trying to be the next Uncle Waffles.
Oh,
You know, how do you then deal with someone trying to compare you with someone else?
I think for gents, it's less.
I was
Yes.
about
Yeah.
I was about, like, for
the
gents,
comparisons are not that extreme.
for
Yeah.
gents, most of us, we are just standing behind the decks.
Yeah.
We just move a little bit, you
Yeah.
know. You're rocking your shades. That's it. For us, in most cases, the music and the mixing, song selection does the talking.
Yeah.
But for the ladies, it's a
Completely
completely
different.
different ball game, because it becomes more of a performance where you are mixing on the decks and you are dancing. But I think Tshepi can jump in here, because I think the comparisons in that sense with the dancing and the mixing is more relatable to what you do and the genre that you play, which is amapiano.
It got me. Oh, it got me real bad. Especially when you're still starting up and you've got this fire and you're like, I want to do this. I'm gonna DJ. And then you have your first gig, or people see your videos and they're like, another Uncle Waffles. And you start having that
In the back of your
mindset, and
mind.
you start doubting your ability, because you're like, am I pretending to be her? Do I look like her so that I can't do this because I might be her? You know, so I'm not unique. I'm not doing anything different, but it's about how badly you want it. I've suffered that a lot, even with Instagram, just being a girl in this entertainment industry, where I'm not wearing short enough skirts, or I'm not putting enough makeup, and I'm not a girly girl too much, or I laugh like this, I should laugh like this, I should have more reels, I should have more bikini pictures. It's everywhere. But I think with this industry, because there's a certain spotlight on you, you constantly go through this thing where you're doubting yourself so much. And I've had a lot of seasons. I've been DJing for just a year, but I've had a lot of seasons where I had to take a step back and just remind myself why I'm doing this, because my sound started sounding like someone else, or I started looking like someone else, or I started doing things like someone else, because of that constant comparison, you know. I think I've told you guys this before, but you also go to places and you DJ, and you'll be told that you're here only because you're pretty, not because you can play.
Yeah.
You know, you are told that, oh, you're the promoter's type.
Sure. That
You know,
is
so
such
that's
an
why he
insult.
booked you. You get what I'm saying? So I've had to take so many steps back and just be like, remind myself that I'm doing this because I love music. I love dancing. I'm always dancing. If you catch me, whether I'm walking in a hallway or in my car, I'm dancing. So you have to just remind yourself who you are, why you're doing this, and just put your oorklappe on. You know,
What's the
because-
oorklappe?
Yes. Help me there, English person.
sure.
Well, you're also who you are. but
Blinders.
yeah.
Blinders.
Yes.
Ah, you
Basically,
see?
those things. Yes.
I
Well
even
done. Shout out, Pali.
But then I wanted to ask again, like, as a lady who's a DJ, do you feel obliged to dance every single time? Like he said, he doesn't have to do much. The only thing he does is to focus on how he's mixing and how he's DJing,
Yeah,
and
two-step.
nod to whoever's taking a picture and be like, yo, I got you.
That's
and that's it. And that's actually a lot of male DJs.
Yeah.
Get them on the dance floor, they can't do
Yeah.
but I love you guys. I love you so much. With the ladies, what I noticed with a lot of ladies who are DJs, most of the times they dance. For you, it's
Yeah.
going to be quite different because you love to dance. You were a dancer before DJing as well. So it's quite different. But for you who, yes, you love to dance, you love music, but you're not necessarily a dancer, like professional dancer. Do you feel obliged to?
I mean, like I said, I don't DJ for the people, and when I do, because I do like to dance, it just happens. You know, I don't feel obligated or obliged to do it. It's just something, you know, when you feel the music and you do want to dance, not a two-step, but like brother man over here.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Drag me, Palesa.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
But I like to dance and I like music, so it just, I guess it just moves me to do it. Yeah. Yeah, nothing
I mean,
forces
you also feel your songs. Do you get what I'm saying? Like when I play my private piano or my more mellow piano, I'm not gonna dance because now I'm forcing it. Like, what are you dancing to?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
like the beat is down here. What are you trying to achieve? But there's certain songs that comes on. It's like da la kuna na da la kuna na na. You kind of have to lose your mind. How are you not? You know what I'm saying? And then there's certain songs where you just like, it's fire for the people. Now you want to watch them dance, and it's like, I love seeing them get excited. You know. So I think it's going with the music, and if you're playing from here. Whatever is coming out of
You
here,
go with the
will
flow.
Yeah.
But then do you guys think your parents were right about the industry?
Oh wow, yo.
How was it like telling your parents, hey, now I
Yo.
want to be a DJ?
The answers they gave you, do you now look back and be like, ah, papa nale right?
Ish, wena.
Yo.
My
And that's
parents
such a hard
fought me,
pill to
dude.
swallow.
Yo, they fought me. Like, I fought them as well. Like, I did not have a very great relationship with my parents for the longest of time because there was opportunities to be on TV. And my mom was like, she's still too young. There were opportunities to do certain things. And some of them she didn't even tell me. Because she knew, hey, this is my
gonna
dream,
fight.
you know? Even when I was a dancer and there was competitions, some of them I had to miss because you're writing exams, you know? I remember when they sat me down, grade 11, and they were like, everything has to stop.
You.
Netball, dancing, everything had to come to a standstill. And it was just exams because now it's for your matric results. When I say I wanted to,
Strangle them.
I was ready to pack my bags and leave. You know when you're that confident?
Yeah, you
like, y'all don't see me packing my bags. I'm out of this house. I don't need you.
You're moving out.
Next time, who's going to feed you, child?
Yeah.
But it really helped me in the long run because I've come to learn also that when something is not ready, when it's put in the spotlight, it will crumble, baby. And that crumble is not cute. So sometimes you need to nurture and grow here and fall here where it's not seen yet so that by the time you come alive, you're ready. You know, so they protected me from a lot of those things because some of the people that I started off with in the industry, they took a couple of knocks. You know, right now they have some bruises, some scars that they wear. But I think they wear them well because they had that thick layer of skin. My parents knew, yo, she's a gangster in the street, but a softie deep down inside. So they knew they had to cover me and protect me. And it helped me also get a degree, you know, to fall back on, even though I might not use it, but you'll never know what happens. You know, like Masego said, it's not sustainable in this industry. So I at least have that knowledge. I have that background. I have, you know, the vision of you'll always have a plan B in life because of that. And always try to make sure that when you do something, you're ready, you've planned it out, and when you come out hard. That's what it's taught me.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. Like, my parents are still hoping and praying that someday I get a real job. Like, they don't consider...
I like that real job.
Like a real job. Like, they don't
to
consider
them
this work.
Yeah.
You know, I find it hard to explain to my parents what I do day in and day out. And my mom is like, so you just sit there and like you watch the games and you talk about the game and then you get paid to talk about the game. She's like, oh, like, is that a job? Do you consider that a job? And I'm like, well, it's my job. I get to pay the bills, you know? And for them, they're quite old, to be honest. And they also come from a different time and a different generation where they believe that you must sweat, you know, in order for you to earn a living, where our lives are completely different. I mean, you've got people on TikTok and Instagram who are making millions just from recording videos. So my parents can't comprehend the work that we do and the world that we live in. And it's also what I do now is to slowly but surely try and educate them. But when we had the initial conversation about I'm going to pursue radio, I remember I had a very, very tough conversation with my dad. And if you know my family and you know my dad, my family is very conservative. My dad is like head of the household, and until that point it was one of those where my dad is, when I make a decision, we don't discuss it. It is what it is.
It's final.
And on that day, which was one of the most defining moments of my life, is for the first time, I was like, but Dad, you don't get it. And I then stood up for myself and I was like, Dad, I want to pursue this. And he's like, okay, cool. So now how are you going to make it happen? And I was like, Dad, don't worry about it. And
Don't worry
Don't
about it.
worry about yourself.
exactly.
That's
I'm like, and I remember that day. I remember what I was wearing. I remember what I was. I remember the position that he was sitting in, the position that I was sitting in.
Kept the distance, ne?
Of course.
A safe one.
Hey, at least I was at that age where he couldn't spank me. But on that day, I made it very clear that, Dad, I really want this thing. And he was like, okay, cool. Because you're a man now, I'll allow you to do what you want to do. But just understand that I don't want a phone call looking for help. I want you to now stand up and to support yourself, right? So it's not like he threw me to the wolves and was like, I'm not going to send you anything. He was just saying that if you are going to call me for extra money for this
Forget
radio
about it.
nonsense, don't call me. And my dad, like, I know that he loves me, but he's very strict. Like, tough love is his philosophy. And from that point to 5 years later, the journey has been very tough, but it's been good. And it's beautiful when you can actually have a conversation with your dad like a few years later. And it's like, I'm starting to get this radio thing,
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, but I'm starting to get it,
Yeah.
And I've just accepted that he might never get it, and it is what it is. But what he sees is that I'm fortunate enough that I can support, my family. I can send money home, and he's actually seeing me live my life and become a man. And slowly but surely, he's starting to realize that, oh wow, no, actually, this is a thing. You can pay your bills with this radio thing. You can pay, for your rent with this thing. You can get a car. And hopefully, at some point they'll accept it. But they didn't accept it then. And even now, they are still in the process. Even after you've won awards, even after you've been nominated, to them, their thinking is so rigid that they are hoping and at some point you'll do things our way. But it won't be the case. But they are warming up to the idea.
It's beautiful to see them warm up to the idea. I mean, you guys know my mom right now. She's like another producer of ours. She's Masego's right hand. She'd be like, yo, I didn't hear, So it's for me, it's full circle for me to hear that affirmation, basically, indirectly, that, yo, I'm listening. I see you. I recognize. How's the process been for you, Masego?
I thought you're going to go
She was ready to throw it to me.
Okay, with my parents, they also were just like Aaron's parents. Actually, my mom, very close to my mom. And she only started taking it seriously when I started getting paid.
It'd be like that.
And then
Like the money is a big determining factor.
Because for her, it didn't make sense that I have to limit my time of studying, limit my time to get a real job, and get it Qatar. Because when
That's what they call it, the Qatar.
Batundodo. Like every time it's her, it's Batundodo. Like when I can't do Nasirasiling. But I am.
Imagine.
But I am. Because also, yes, when I was studying go high every time, TV. So I'm one of those kids. I never switch off my TV or my radio when I'm studying. And with my sister, on the other hand, she wants everything to be quiet. Even the dog shouldn't bark because she's studying. With me, so she started like taking it seriously and realizing this is actually a career and I have to support you. When I became
independent, the dollar, the cash.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, man. Try explaining to your black parents that you want to leave school to do radio.
Yeah.
Like, that was not easy. But I have such a supportive mom, man. Like, she's always, like, cheering me on. She's, like, the biggest cheerleader, you know? My dad, on the other hand, not so much. Like, he's so concerned about my future. Like,
it's always the father.
He thinks like it's not sustainable. Okay, maybe it's not, but like he just thinks it doesn't make sense. You know, he he's always like, yo, but you read the news. You do know you need to know everything. Hey, you can't go up there and embarrass yourself. You literally need to know every single thing. Like, he's so concerned, you know, and having to volunteer. Oh my gosh. Explaining to parents that I'm gonna volunteer,
I'm not getting paid,
not get money, spend money to get there, and just do that. That was one of the hardest things, you know. Having to ask them to support me even after I left school, like, that was not easy, you know. Even now, I think they see that, you know, it's coming together. Oh, I work at 5FM. I'm earning some cash, you know. I can take them out to a nice lunch. I can do this, buy them this. Then they slowly easing into it. But my dad is still on the edge. He's still like, get a real job, you know.
Hoping and praying
you
for
know?
the real job.
But I don't know. I guess it's just the journey that I have to take. My mom, shout out to her. She's been supportive from day one.
Shout
the
out,
lady,
Mom.
yeah, the lady that paid for my fees, the lady that hustled for me to literally be here. Shout out to that lady. And yeah, man, shout out to my dad also for trying.
I think
He's
shout
there.
out to us for pushing through this entire thing.
Let's
you know,
agree
Yeah.
to disagree, though. They were right. It's not sustainable.
that's true.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
But shout out to us for pushing, for making this thing come alive. Our dreams that we believe so much in come alive, and to get where we are now.
Yeah.
A solid team. And
Yeah.
I cannot wait for us to conquer and kill.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, you better. Can
Kill
I
the
get
game.
a click for the team? And that's on per.
Bye, guys. Love you
Bye.
so much. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel.
Don't forget to like, comment,
Comment
and
below.
subscribe.
Okay.
And turn on your post
Yes.
notification bell.
Please.
And
So
tell
you
your
can
friends.
get notified every time 5FM posts.
Tell your friends to like it as well. If you like the content of the
100%.
show,
Still
please
doing
let
it.
them know. Okay.
Please cut the cameras right now. Cut the cameras.
Okay,
Let's
love
go.
you.
This is 5